Well, trade deadline has came and gone. Then we got Thursday night football action. So we'll get into that in a second. But Sauce Gardner going from the Jets to the Colts to play with Daniel Jones. Who would have thought that would have happened?
Not me.
Yeah, it was an interesting deadline.
Well,
Lot to get into.
what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Shot of Sports podcast. Grab a drink, a snack. This is your weekly dose of sports, where we'll break down and do a deep dive of the world of sports. Whether you're a casual fan or a diehard, we're here to bring you the latest, the best analysis, and the hottest takes. Subscribe, share, even comment. We appreciate all the feedback. Hit the like button for us and tap the notification bell on the right so you can be notified whenever we drop so you won't miss one. Today we got on the show our usual Chris Pittner, and we have Drew Best on. Welcome
Happy
back.
Thursday, everybody.
Yes, it is a happy Thursday indeed. Yeah.
How was the week? Because we didn't get on Tuesday.
It's been good. Nothing too crazy. I mean, obviously a lot to talk about in the sports world. So that's kind of the excitement that I have for today.
I mean, we're at the peak sports season now. Baseball's done, but for a couple weeks there, we had all four pro major sports in America going at once. You can't ask for much more than that.
Right. Right. So with that, we'll actually jump into the first topic, which is the World Series champion is crowned. The Los Angeles Dodgers have won the World Series, and it's nothing me or you can say about it. They beat the Toronto Blue Jays 4-3 in Game 7, which was ultimately one of the best Game 7s in a long time, since possibly the David Freese and the Cardinals era with the Rangers. But I have a video that I wanted to get into real quick that I saw that, really irked me a little bit. I forgot what his name was, but it really irked me a little bit to say. So let me get that in.
Wet eyes, and I don't doubt him, and I don't blame him for that. And it's going to sound like sour grapes, and I don't really give a shit, but I think the better team did not win this series. I think the Blue Jays are the better team, and I feel like they played baseball a certain way that was infectious, that grabbed the attention of the fans, and it's disheartening to see that the better team did not win. And that's not to take anything away from the Dodgers, but the Blue Jays, they did so many things correct. They did so many things right.
So that is Caleb Joseph of the Toronto Blue Jays on Sportsnet, pregame and postgame host for them. So, what do
It's
we
the first
think about
time I'm
that?
hearing that. First time
I
I'm
think
hearing it.
I heard like a small clip of it one time, but I mean, I get it to a point. Like, obviously, the Brewers announcers, when they lose, aren't going to be happy about it either. Like, I see where he's coming from with it. Is it a bit too homerish? I think so. But at the same time, that's also the Canadian network. Like, we are pulling this from that network. Like, I think he has a bit of sour grapes and he sounded a little annoyed, but I could also see why he's frustrated. Now, to say that they were the better team, I think talent wise, for sure, the Dodgers had a better roster. I mean, the Jays, yeah, I mean, did they outplay them at times in this series? Yes, but Jalen said it after Game 5. If the Dodgers win Game 6, they're also going to win Game 7. And that's exactly what happened. At the end of the day, they just had slightly better pitching.
Tried to
Yep.
tell people this, but it wasn't that because that Game 7 could have went either way. So I didn't want to really toot my own horn, but when you have the lion by the neck, you better kill him.
Yeah,
Otherwise, he'll be able to withstand whatever you're doing and come back and kill you. And that's exactly what the Dodgers did. You had the lion by the throat, in which you could have beat them. You was up in Game 6.
They had second and third with no outs in that game.
You was up in Game 6.
And then 3 pitches later, they were out.
You were up in Game 6. You did not complete the task, so you have to go to Game 7 where anything is possible. And then everybody's available for the Dodgers. That ultimately means the best team in baseball, right, is going to have everyone available, all of their pitchers. So what do? They flex their muscle. They um, had everybody ready to go. They pitched Blake Snell. They pitched Yamamoto again after throwing in Game 6.
Yeah, well, the other thing for me is, I guess just to start, let's just talk about the fact that this is probably the best World Series we've seen, I think, since 2016. This is a fun watch every single night. The 18-inning game was chaotic. The end of the Game 7 was chaotic. I guess when we look at that, though, as you mentioned, Jalen, this was the Blue Jays had their chances to go and win this. They had the chance to be the better team. And the reason that the Dodgers won is because they were able to step up when the going got tough. And that is what makes the championship team in the end. I mean, the Jays were up in the top of the 9th with a chance to put the Dodgers away, and they gave up the home run. And that's what the Dodgers needed to do, is they stepped up when the difficult times came. And that's the reason that they became the champions. And it doesn't take anything away from the Blue Jays. They were a really fun team. I think there were 49 states in another country rooting for the Toronto Blue Jays. But when it came down to it, the Dodgers just did what they needed to do to win. And that, I don't know if that comes down to necessarily the guys that they had on the payroll, because it was guys like Miguel Rojas and Will Smith who were making those big plays.
Pages.
Yeah, Pages. That was one of my favorite parts of Game 7, where it was this close to being like a series ruining error or collision, and Pages just kind of figured it out. And I think that a lot of people were hoping that he would have dropped that ball, but I mean, like I said, they got it done. The Dodgers win again, and I think this is the best World Series that they've won so far.
When there's something that needs to be said about teams just finding ways to win, like the Dodgers got out hit in most of the series contact wise, but they found ways to bring in runs even without hitting nearly as much as Toronto did. They took advantage of their opportunities and the Blue Jays didn't. I mean, I guess you could say that they were the quote unquote better team because they hit more, they did more just in general. Like in Game 1, they shellacked the Dodgers pretty badly, but the Dodgers did what they needed to win. You got to give them credit for that. I mean, on paper, it's by far and away the best roster in the sport too. So it's not like it was a fluke necessarily. Like they just did what they had to do and they got it done. It was a gritty veteran group that was doing what they needed to do. And like Drew said, Miguel Rojas was not one of their big money guys. Will Smith, although he's very good, is not one of their big money guys. It was the entire roster that was stepping up for them.
It's hard to say Will Smith was the big money guy. He just hasn't got the contract yet, but he is one of the better bats that they do have.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying, where he's not the Freddie Freeman, he's not the Mookie Betts, he's not the Shohei Ohtani. It's not the guys that you're putting so much money into and are leading your line. When you mention Dodgers players, I bet you Will Smith comes up like 8th, 9th, 10th. That's all I'm saying.
Possibly. So I want to play this video again for Nazir to see. We have Nazir Spencer back on.
Yo.
Welcome to the show. And here's the video.
Wet eyes, and I don't doubt him, and I don't blame him for that. And it's going to sound like sour grapes, and I don't really give a shit, but I think the better team did not win this series. I think the Blue Jays are the better team, and I feel like they played baseball a certain way that was infectious, that grabbed the attention of the fans, and it's disheartening to see that the better team did not win. And that's not to take anything away from the Dodgers, but the Blue Jays, they did so many things correct. They did so many things right.
So you can go into the comments and see, Nazir, that that Jalen had his opinions about it as well. What do you think about that?
I think I personally think he was correct. When I saw that, I was like, yeah. I mean, I just think watching that series, I mean, you guys know baseball more than I do, but just watching that series, the better team for me, I'm not saying this because I don't like the Dodgers, because the Dodgers are a great team. They're back-to-back champions now. But I just feel like the Blue Jays played harder than they did. They played baseball like everyone wants to see. I'm not saying that the Dodgers, maybe people want to watch the Dodgers play all the time, but from what I saw, the Blue Jays gave me a little bit of baseball like the Brewers did, like throughout the regular season. They just fought. They wanted to win so bad. And I feel like the Blue Jays, you saw them go play 2 games in one night at a super high level against this super team. I feel like no one else would have survived that. I feel like everybody is completely looking past that game because they lost it, and then they won the next game after that 2-game in one night. I just feel like the Blue Jays, they aren't the better team on paper, but when it comes to playing like against that team, against the Dodgers, I just feel like they were the better team in the series. I do. But to Jalen's point in the comments, that means they weren't the best team because they lost. Well, you can say that about a lot of other champions. I mean, you look at the Celtics in 2022 against the Warriors, they were the better team, and they lost. I mean, it's simple. I mean, that's on paper, obviously, too, but throughout the regular season, they were considered the better team. But I don't know. I think the Blue Jays were in that series the better team. Not throughout the entire playoffs, but that series specifically.
It's a slippery slope, right? When you talk about they weren't the better team and things like that. Well, no one's saying that you're not going to be able to play well, because you made it to the World Series the way you did. You hit, you pitched, you did well, right? But when you talk about the better team, if they come in as the best team, right? They come in as the better team, regardless of record, right? On paper, the better team did what they had to do to win the series. Now, it doesn't look pretty. It don't look like they dominated. They didn't. No one. I mean, you could say the Blue Jays offense dominated, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the Dodgers bats woke up in Game 6 and 7. The Dodgers pitching shut them down when they needed to, in which they were paid for, right? So when you talk about the better team, like that's a slippery slope to say because yes, you were having a hot series, you were hot and things like that. But no one said in these playoffs. No one said. I don't think there was a lot of people that said the Blue Jays were going to win the World Series.
No, not at all.
I thought Seattle was going to make it.
Yeah, a lot of people said Seattle was going to do it, right? Because of Cal Raleigh or the Yankees, right? Which I didn't think, but a lot of people thought the Yankees were going to win. There were some people said the Blue Jays were going to make it there, but ultimately fall to the Dodgers. 80-90% of the country thought the Dodgers were going to win the World Series. So that's the best team. And when they go in there and win the World Series, they beat you to win the World Series. It don't matter how many games it took, no matter how ugly it looked, the best team won.
Well, my thing is this. Like, you look at last year's postseason with the Dodgers, they played unbelievably better, in my opinion. I think they were just so much better last year than this year. Things got a little tough. I know it's hard to go back-to-back, but that having that home field advantage for the Blue Jays and then them going to LA for 3 games and playing absolutely unreal, I don't know. I just feel like watching it, they were clearly they had to lead. They just blew it. I don't know. That game 6 was pretty brutal. And then game 7, I mean, they played up to par with the Dodgers the entire game. And then you get to the 11th inning, and the Dodgers just turned things up a little bit. And
they had a lead. They had a lead all the way into the 9th, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
It was that close.
Winning in the 9th.
And in the 9th, just remember, you can't overlook the fact that they were like one toe away from walking that World Series off.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
if Will Smith doesn't get his foot back on the base in time, we're having a completely different conversation.
Not only that, if I don't remember who the runner.
How about Miguel Rojas?
If the runner doesn't slide, you could even argue that he beats it just running through. Like, he obviously slid because of the situation, but if he doesn't slide, there's also a chance he just beats the throw, and the Blue Jays are celebrating right now.
Yeah. How about Miguel Rojas, right? How about him getting it off balance? He could have fell down, game over. He could have threw it away, game over. But he slipped, got his composure, threw a dart, got him out.
I think the Dodgers are the better team, like overall. Like even before the series, I even asked you guys, I'm like, did the Blue Jays even stand a chance? But then you watch the entire series. I mean, when you get to game 1, it's 0-0. You know, no one wins, no one loses yet. You go throughout the series, you have to watch who plays. I just feel like the Blue Jays played harder. I don't know how else to describe it. I know they lost, but I just feel like every single game they showed out a little bit more than the Dodgers, and the Dodgers were able to just pull away slightly, due to them having a better team overall on paper. I just feel like that's fair argument to say. I don't really disagree with what the guy said on the video, but I kind of see both ways.
Yeah, I mean, it goes. I mean, it's a slippery slope. Like I said, it was a slippery slope. Like the Dodgers did get outplayed a bit offensively by the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays just definitely beat them better. They were definitely a better offensive team in that series. But when it looks down to it, the best team, the most mature team, the most experienced team, locked in, did what they had to do to win, made the right pitch to get the ground ball to Miguel Rojas for that play to even be close. Got the right pitch for Andy Paez to run over Kike Hernandez to catch the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That goes to show that's the better team. And then when the better team, Jeff Hoffman, he hung a slider over the plate. Arguably, you wanted to think about dirt pitches, but arguably he hung a ball over the plate. Miguel Rojas beat him. And people say, "Oh, if he doesn't hit that," yeah, but if he doesn't hit that, obviously it's a different game. Obviously, they possibly win, but the best team came through when they needed it most. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, and I feel bad for Jeff Hoffman too, because that was the only run he gave up in the entire series in five innings of work, and that guy took it really hard. And as I imagine anyone would in that scenario, you get to that point in your life, you get to that game after playing baseball your entire life, and one pitch is a ball off where you wanted it to be, and it gets sent into the stands, and now you're playing from behind in the biggest game of all of your entire life. That you're going to take it hard. So I guess that's a guy who I think he found a great opportunity with the Blue Jays and just got stuck in a difficult situation. And the pitching for the Blue Jays really wasn't all that bad. It was just the Dodgers coming up in big moments, in my opinion. I thought Trey Savage looked great. I think when you look down the line of Gausman wasn't horrible. Pretty much everybody was at least serviceable. There's no one who had a rough time other than maybe Scherzer. So I guess when you look at it from that perspective, I think that pitching was pretty even. It just came down to beyond the two or so blowout games that the Jays had. The Dodgers either kept it close or found ways to win in the end, and that's how championship teams win.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, good teams find ways to win. I'm going to leave out the other half of this because Toronto is in no way a bad team in any way, shape, or form. But, I mean, good teams just find ways to win, and that's what the Dodgers did. They were a veteran group of guys, like we've been saying, all starting pitching pretty much as vets, besides Yamamoto, who was their best pitcher all series. Ohtani's been in the league forever. Snell's been in the league for a while. Glasnow's been in the league forever. They just found ways to win in those games. Were they the better team, quote unquote, the entire series? I mean, definitely in some games they weren't, but they found ways to win, even if they weren't.
They were better for 4 games, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like to toot my own horn that I said after Game 5, the Dodgers win Game 6, they'll win Game 7. They'll win the World Series. I love that. But, I will say we're going to wrap up baseball on Tuesday. I got a topic that, I wanted to talk about before we close the door on baseball, but till spring training. We're going to leave that. That's going to be possibly for next week, so join for that, and we'll get to that. So we're going to jump into our next one, which is we got Thursday night football tonight, and then we also have a trade deadline that just passed as well. Thursday night football, we have the Raiders versus my Broncos. Bo Nix gets primetime TV.
Okay, I just have to rant for a second. Why are we putting the Raiders on primetime? We just need to stop. The Raiders do not deserve a single primetime game ever. This should be like Broncos Chiefs, so the Chiefs can just go on to Denver and do what they got to do.
Well, I mean, Denver's fun this year, dude. They've been playing well.
No, I think you missed what I said. The Raiders.
We'll look into that. Listen, we'll look into that later. Yep.
They got a fun offense. And it's very like we know what Geno Smith is. He's 11-11 on his touchdown interception ratio, but he's gonna air the ball out. And I'm interested to see how things are to go without Jacoby Myers. We saw them put it together on offense in the last game, and obviously the defense is a pretty big stinker. But I mean, I think it's at least going to be fun football in the end, as long as Geno Smith somewhat protects it.
I mean,
do you know how many times Geno's been on the cook list this year?
I bet he's
every
judging by the fact that he. Here's the thing, he's like Jordan Love, but he never has the good ball downfield. Like he'll find someone who's wide open downfield, and that's a credit maybe to coach. But I don't think that when it gets to it, he's a great quarterback in really any regard. I think that he's serviceable. He's their bridge quarterback. That's the reason they brought him in. I think it's more so because I have Trey Tucker on my fantasy team and I want him to go and drop 30, but we'll have to see.
Like next week is Patriots versus Jets. Come on, man.
I
know they're trying to do rivalries on Thursday nights, which is great because in 2 weeks you got Texans Bills. But come on, like this is ridiculous.
Texans Bills is another mid game too. There's just
that's a pretty
especially if Stroud is out.
Stroud will be back in 2 weeks.
I mean, the thing is too is like preseason, we all thought the Raiders were going to be a little bit better than they've been. Like right. I know we were talking on this show specifically that we were saying, oh, the Raiders might not be awful this year. They might take a couple steps. Maybe Nas wasn't, but the rest of us were all thinking that there's a chance they're not as horrible. There's a chance that they're not as horrible as they were last year.
Well, if they were to actually give the Genty the ball, I don't think they would actually be horrible.
This team too, they go as far as Brock Bowers can take them offensively. We saw the difference with him on the field versus off the field this weekend against the Jags. Their offense looked functional and competent this week, whereas it hasn't looked like that 99% of the season because Bowers has been hurt. Week 1, it still looked fine. Ever since then, until last week, they looked awful because Bowers wasn't playing. They go as far as he can take them. Now, Denver obviously has a fantastic defense, and it's going to be really tough for them, even with Bowers on the field tonight, to really do much of anything. However, Denver's offense goes stale at times too. Bo Nix is kind of inconsistent. He's been able to lead drives in the fourth quarter. But this team was 133-point quarter away from getting embarrassed by the Giants, too. Like, it was very close to happening where they were shut out for 3 quarters, and then they dropped 33 in the last quarter to be able to win, obviously. But
Sean Payton.
I mean, I don't want to call them fraudulent because I think there is a lot of talent on this team. But I think 7-2 doesn't speak to how good they are. Jalen, you can argue with me here if you want.
I completely agree.
I'm not gonna say. I ain't gonna say you're wrong because obviously Bo Nix sometimes he has a problem with overthrowing his receivers. I will say that. Like I said, I will always take the overthrow any time of the week. But when you consistently do it, like you gotta you gotta drop it in the breadbasket multiple times, more than just a couple times a game. And that's what we say about Caleb Williams too. I be talking to my dad about it. Like, Caleb Williams cannot throw the ball. He cannot drop the ball in the breadbasket. When have you seen Caleb Williams drop back, throw the ball, and drop it into the breadbasket over the shoulder catches? You don't see it. It's always a dart. It's always to the sideline. It's always over the middle. It's always behind the line of scrimmage, right? Or he's running and trying to make a play like he's Patrick Mahomes. So it's like we have to start trying to develop quarterbacks more to be able to drop it in the breadbasket like Patrick Mahomes does, like Josh Allen does, like Lamar Jackson does. Right? They drop the ball over the shoulder and gets their wide receivers a lot of touchdowns. That's why their offenses are so elite because they are able to drive. They are able to throw the deep ball. But yeah.
I think the difference in this game is the ability to play in the fourth quarter, and I think it's going to be the Broncos, but I don't think that it's unreasonable to say that there's a way that the Ravens can go and put up 3 touchdowns and be within 3 points of the Broncos going into the fourth quarter. I think that they can make it a game, and I think it really for them also matters how much they can get that offense going early on, because if they go stale in the Mile High, they're going to have issues. And I think maybe even that scenario of them being in Denver may make the ball sail a little bit more for Geno Smith, and maybe it'll create issues for him as well. So I think that this game starts close, goes into the fourth quarter, and I think that it comes down to the Broncos pulling away, maybe 30-21 game.
I think you have it too high scoring for my eyes. I think it's going to be a bit more of a barn burner. Denver's defense is obviously very good. I don't see Geno having a ton of success besides getting the ball to Brock Bowers and putting it in Ashton Genty's hands to be able to move the football. I got like 21-17 because the Broncos offense is nothing special either. There, besides Cortland Sutton, there's not a ton of weapons on that offense, really, at least in the passing game.
I see a comment by Jalen. I'll get into that in final thoughts.
I mean, but yeah, there's not a lot, I don't think, that Denver has to offer offensively that really sets them apart in this. And I'm going to go 21-17. I think the Broncos take care of business here, but it's closer, and I think they need a fourth quarter drive to do it.
Look, I'll just say this. If the Raiders have another primetime game, I'm just not gonna watch it. Truly. Look, I know you guys think that this team it should be better. It should have been better. There's nothing on this team that screamed good besides Genty and Max Crosby and Brock Bowers. That's not enough. That's not enough for this team to compete with the other three teams in the division, or let alone the AFC in general. It's just not happening. So the Broncos
are like 4 points away from 4-4. They screwed it up in the fourth quarter against the Bears, and they screwed it up in the fourth quarter against the Jaguars. They are somewhat competent in that quarter. They could be in a different place right now.
And they lost.
Yes,
you
that's
gotta
what I'm
saying. You gotta stop.
I mean, that goes back to the good teams find ways to win.
I'm telling you, they play close ball until the fourth quarter, and then they screw it up. So I don't think that they're like objectively super far behind. I think they just don't play well when the going gets tough, and that we were just talking about that in a different sport. You got to be able to go and do it in the fourth quarter, and they can't.
The Raiders organization, they don't get what they usually have to get. They don't have. They need an O-line. They need a quarterback. They should have drafted Shedeur Sanders or something. They should have drafted a quarterback, in my opinion.
I mean, it's so many teams because it said that should have drafted.
Yeah, but the Raiders and the Giants or the Jets, New York and Las Vegas were like the big ones that everyone was saying. New Orleans was another one, but he didn't even want to go there. But no one wants to go there. But the big ones was New York and Las Vegas. And Vegas had a chance. I mean, Pittsburgh had a chance as well. They didn't take him. It's just Shedeur could have been on this team and been like, okay, my partner's Genty now. I have a great running back, for the first time ever in my career, really. And then, eventually you get a wide receiver. Maybe Jacoby Myers would have took off a little bit more.
He would have stayed. They would have traded him.
Right. Then now he's gone. But I don't know.
They want to pay him.
I don't think the Raiders
trying to start fresh.
They need to get what they need. They don't do it. They don't go after what they need. And that's the reason they're still, kind of poverty. They haven't been in the playoffs since 2021, I believe. So
even then, it was a quick exit. Same with 2016 when they made it. They don't win when they go to the playoffs. They get bounced right away.
They just celebrate like it's the Super Bowl and they lose right away. So
so let's look at the trade deadline. So we know Dallas got Quentin Williams, and we know that the Colts got Sauce. And then we saw Jacoby Myers, I think, go with the Jacksonville, I believe.
Yeah.
So
yep.
I don't know how I feel about the half sell. Because you get rid of Williams, you get rid of Gardner, but you keep Breece Hall, you keep Garrett Wilson. They must feel really good about their offensive scheme going forward. Otherwise, I don't.
Why?
Because it seems like they're selling on defense.
I don't think they could have traded Wilson because he was injured. So I think he was kind of off the table. But
Breece
not
Hall,
trading Breece.
Outwardly,
I'm surprised the Chiefs didn't give them an offer. Because I think
they definitely did on the table.
I mean, but why didn't they take it then? That's my question.
Well, first of all,
the Chiefs need a running back, and the Jets wanted. Breece literally asked to be traded, and nothing happened.
Well, he asked the last second, so they probably didn't have.
Yeah, I suppose it's kind of on him. He should have asked earlier.
They didn't.
He probably saw that half of his friends are getting traded, and he's like, "Man, this sucks. Now I'm stuck here for the next 8 games at least, and however long my contract is. I don't know how long his contract is, but I'm sure that he saw what they were doing and was like, man, these guys don't want to win, so I don't want to be here. And they just didn't work out a deal.
But he saw a rebuild getting processed, and he's like, well, I'm a big piece of this offense. I don't want to be here if my other my defensive guys aren't here. So I know he still has Wilson. That's his homie. But, Breece should have been, honestly, okay, this is weird. This is a weird take. But I thought Breece was going to Arizona. I'm not going to lie. I really thought he was. Because they don't – they kind of need a running back. He's either Arizona or the Bears. I thought one of those teams.
Arizona's not
no.
far off either. They're what, 5 or 6 points
That's what I
away
mean.
from being
Like if Kyler
in the
could get his
playoff
shit together,
hunt.
The Bears are not in a bad place running back wise. DeAndre Swift has been giving them very
that's
serviceable
why.
games.
That's why I
Well,
was
Kyle
kind of weird.
Monungai had a fantastic game on Sunday. So
Yeah.
I
That's why I was
think
kind of a weird
honestly
take.
they don't need to overpay at that position because I think they're fine as is.
But
Because
if
they found a way to get their backs that they have to work.
if the Cardinals went after him, though, I mean that would have been pretty damn good for them. I just don't know what they would have gave up for him because I don't know what their situation is over there, team wise and draft proposition wise. Like I just think that would have been kind of interesting. I'm not gonna lie.
They're
Talking about
also
that, go
2 games back of anybody right now. That they have 3 teams in that division with 6 wins, and they have 3. It's a tough thing. They would have had to really. I think if they had maybe 1 or 2 more wins, they could probably feel more confident in making a trade like that. But I think that their chances of overcoming even 2 of those teams is tough at this point.
You know what team I'm pretty mad at, bro? I'm really, really mad at the Saints. How do you not trade Alvin Kamara? I mean, your
And
team.
Chris Olave.
Yeah, how do you not trade either of them and get some picks? And you already drafted your quarterback that you say you wanted, which I don't believe. But you could get more picks. You can get maybe some players to come in to build some momentum going into next year, or it's just something. The Saints are doing nothing. They stood still and they think that they're going to be good with the players they got. And I don't understand.
What is their vision? Like, I don't see a vision for anything. Like, they got a couple of vets on the defense. Cam Jordan's still there. Demario Davis is still there. Like, they have a couple pieces still, but it's nowhere near enough to even consider contending even for the playoffs or a wild card spot. Like, you're not going anywhere. What's the point of even, like, just sell off the pieces you have and start over?
Their division is winnable.
They've kind of done a soft rebuild. And like you said, Nas, they're in a division where it really would only take like a year of tearing everything down, signing some guys in free agency, getting some new draft infused talent in there. They could turn it around pretty quick. Atlanta keeps tripping over themselves. Carolina, well, they're one of the most inconsistent teams in football right now.
It depends on offense.
Tampa is beatable still. Like, they're a very good team, but you could easily get back up into that upper echelon. And you get 4 games against Carolina and Atlanta every single year. And if you luck into the worst AFC division too, you get those games as well. Like, there's a chance here, I think, for the Saints to break out and be at least a little bit better, but they haven't risen to the occasion.
Now, that being said, I do think that Rashid Shaheed is a great addition for the Seahawks. I think that that's going to really well complement that offense. I think that he fits in a great role there. And I think that will be I think that's a big win there for the Seahawks. And I'm kind of glad that they made that trade because, I mean, I think they were hoping to get a little bit more out of Cooper Kupp. I mean, obviously they played well on Monday night, but they're throwing to Torrey Horton and Austin Barner. And who are these guys?
I mean, but they're making it work. I think as of right now, Seattle's like my dark horse pick to make a really deep run in the NFC. I mean, it's them and like the Rams that I think have been the 2 most quote unquote consistent teams so far this year. I haven't seen enough out of Green Bay or Detroit to really put them in that. I think they have the talent to go to the Super Bowl, but they're not showing it consistently enough, especially Green Bay, where one week you look like Super Bowl contenders and yeah, Dallas isn't going to do anything. Philly is up there too. I forgot about them.
Okay, but it's January Sam Darnold though.
That's the concern, but there's so much talent on this team and that defense is very good too, to where I think there is a chance that like even if Sam Darnold plays average football, they could overcome it.
For sure.
That is true. So we'll leave that there.
But real quick. I think the Cowboys pickups were pretty damn good, even though
Quinn Williams.
The defensive line looks good.
I mean, but that begs the question for me, why the hell did they trade Micah? Like, what was the point? Other than not wanting to pay him.
That's
why. You bring in Quinn and Williams, you could have a really, really good defense still with him there.
They thought the money was better in Dak and CD's hands, which, I mean, you could kind of say he's on the right trajectory. I mean, their offense is one of the best in the league.
Well, Pickens is coming up on needing to get a deal struck too, and he's been playing really well. I just feel like they were trying to look more into the future, and I don't think that they felt that Parsons was a worthy investment with what they were trying to do. And I mean, to each their own. Jerry, we appreciated Jerry. We loved doing that trade, but
What did you guys give in return? Kenny Clark,
Kenny Clark and 2 firsts.
Kenny Clark and 2 firsts.
Okay, 2 firsts. I was gonna say there's.
I mean, but the thing is, they're probably gonna cut Kenny Clark after the season. Like that's what I've been seeing.
He's a Packer again. He was
a salary filler.
He's a Packer again. Much.
We'll see. I don't know if they would want to pay for him to come.
He's not going to be paid a lot if you guys get him back with Micah.
I think they really like Devontae Wyatt, and I think that's what they like. What they got in the interior line. I don't think that they would bring him back.
I don't know, man. That would be kind of crazy if Kenny came.
Micah Parsons talks very highly of Devontae Wyatt, and he thinks that he's a very valuable piece there. And I think that they would probably just keep it as is, keep the money there. I think they invest more into their cornerbacks. And we're still waiting to see if they sign Asante Samuel Jr. That's been tossed around.
I mean, he's got 6 visits now. Like it's not just the Packers and the Bears have a visit with him. The Vikings have a visit with him, and there's a couple other teams. I mean, no matter what, like I don't think Green Bay is going to get him just because I think one of those other teams is going to be able to offer a bit more money.
We just got to remember the Packers might have to do something. They're 1 or 2 banged up corners away from Bo Melton getting reps in the first team. So they got to figure it out.
That's why I thought that they should have made a trade. I couldn't tell you who because I haven't done a lot of research into it, but they needed to make a trade, I think, for a corner in this draft or in this trade deadline or this window, and they didn't.
Imagine if they would have picked up Sauce, dude. They would have gotten Parsons and Sauce.
I mean, I'm not even saying Sauce. Just go for somebody, man. Like, they didn't do anything. Like, they're trusting Keyshawn Nixon to be out there guarding wide receiver ones. I think Carrington Valentine's been better this year personally than Nixon.
And, that's what's been surprising to me because if you would have told me that Carrington Valentine was going to be able to compete at 5'7", 160 with 6'3", 240 DK Metcalf, I would have thought you were silly. He was getting beat down by Dallas Goedert in the playoffs, literally punched in the face repeatedly on the way to the end zone. And that's the issue. He is smaller, but he's a leech. He's on you defensively, but you just can't leave him in open space. Otherwise, he's going to get run over by someone bigger than him. But, I mean, as a pure corner, Carrington Valentine's been great.
I mean, and not only that, Nate Hobbs was a total whiff. In free agency.
I think we need a little more time with him. He's been banged up. He hasn't been on the right foot.
I mean, it doesn't help, and I think they're playing him a bit out of what he's good at. I think he's a slot corner. That's another roster flaw, though. Nixon was a slot corner for so long. Like, that's what – we have multiple slot corners that we're trusting to play outside, and it's just not working.
Yeah. Well, with that, we're going to jump into our last one, which is the NCAA Hoops is back. All right, so we got what's his face? We got BYU being one of the highest preseason ranks they've ever had, and then you got who's number 1 in the country? Purdue, who was good, but they didn't look.
My God. That team's crazy, bro. They're gonna be good as hell throughout
the
entire
year. 29-year-old Braden Smith back for year 12.
Smith? Yeah.
Dude, that guy annoys me, man. Like,
there's 4 names.
Enterprise is calling your name.
There's 4 names that people need to know and watch, and will be great throughout college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Darren Peterson.
Oh yeah.
AJ Debinsa.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Cam Boozer. And Arizona's Koa Pete.
Oh, okay. Hold on. That's a good one. I completely forgot about him because Bryce is on that team.
Yeah, Koa Pete. I've seen enough. After he plays defense, he rebounds, he can score. He does all 3 things that you want a basketball player to do. Koa Pete is something special. He's gonna be. I think Arizona's a dark horse this year, especially if Koa Pete plays like that, like he played against. What was that? Who did he play? Who did they play?
I'd be lying if I said I knew off the dome, but
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Arizona. Arizona had played. Oh yeah, Kion Anthony looked pretty good too.
Oh, he looked good. He looked
for
amazing.
Syracuse, right?
Yeah.
What about John Blackwell? He looks good.
Dude.
Arizona
mean-
had played Florida. That's it.
This Badger team, I don't know what it is, like them playing down to competition. Like they've done it a couple times. Like they pulled away in the second half pretty good, but they struggled against Platteville last week. Now I know that's an exhibition, but Platteville hung around for a while in that game. Like
That
I'm
was the
just
best game
saying,
of the
like Campbell, or was it Campbell? I don't even remember who played earlier this week. It was a small school, but they hung around with them until the end of the game when they went on a massive run. But I mean, this team needs to lock in better and beat teams down the way that they're supposed to beat them down. Like this, I think the score from Tuesday's game is a bit like, or was it Monday? I don't even remember. But the score is not indicative of how the game flow went. Like the Badgers' opponents hung around better than I think they probably should have, and that's how it was in their scrimmages in preseason too. They lost to Oklahoma. Now there's a lot of talent on this team: John Blackwell, Nolan Winter, Andrew Rohde coming back in from Brookfield as a transfer. Is it Nick Boyd? I don't remember. But he's another transfer. Austin Rapp's another good player. Like they have a lot of talent on this team. They just got to bring it together. I think this could be the team, though, if they do put it together, that finally makes it past the first weekend for the first time since Bo was the coach.
On Tuesday,
like
I get to go ahead.
I like that kid Nate Ament. I think he's from Tennessee. He looked really good. He's like a 6'10" forward or something like that. He looks crazy. He's a Tennessee forward, freshman, 18 years old, playing like that. I mean, that's crazy. I like what I'm seeing out of these years players. I mean, even though they can't go to the draft yet, but actually they can, but they shouldn't. But I think they're gonna be good.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get Leaf in here a little bit. He's now covering Arizona Wildcats, so I would love to get his opinion on Koa Pete.
That's awesome.
He works with Locked On. He's the now host of Locked On Arizona Wildcats. So
Wow.
I'll be able to. We'll be able to get him on there and get his sights about who Koa Pete and Bryce James look like. So, what I wanted to say was that I get to see AJ DeBanza up close on Tuesday against Delaware.
He looks crazy good, man.
He's 6'9". He moves like a guard.
He looks scary good.
And can play defense.
I mean, he could be a problem in the league in a couple of years.
His defense is the most impressive thing to me, bro. Like he tries unbelievably hard on defense, and his rebounding. I know people overlook rebounding, but like the kid jumps at every ball. Like he looks like a bigger Russell Westbrook. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I get to see him up close. I work with CBS Sports that night with talent, so I'll be able to sit courtside, I believe, and do stats and watch him up close in person. So I got tasked to go down there and do stats for them. So it'd be pretty cool to see.
Chris, I'll be out there at a Badger game for work pretty soon.
Oh boy, you might see Jocko out there.
I know, yeah.
And remember that this is a good point right here. Imagine Cooper was supposed to be with this class. Cooper Flag was supposed to come in this year.
That's crazy.
See, like I feel like you can't. I feel like you can't crap on him too much in the NBA for struggling this year because he is still 18. Like it was the same thing with Wemby at that age too. It's like some people thought he was going to come in and just completely put the league up, like tear the league apart, just 100%, and not have any issues. I mean, the same thing is here with Flag. Like he's a kid still, basically. Like most of the rookies this year are at least a year older than him.
Yeah, even Ace Bailey, he's been something. He's been something, and he got some growing to do. He's looked good last game. Yesterday he looked pretty good. He looked like the best he's looked here, other than preseason, obviously. But he was the best here, his best here in regular season and training camp. So he's getting there.
Can I also just put an F in the chat for Walker Kessler?
Oh man.
Yeah.
I had him in fantasy too. That's really unfortunate. And I guess the other question I have for you, Jalen, is Laurie getting traded this year? And if so, to whom?
Nah, I don't think so. Not this year. I don't think because of his contract and stuff. People don't want to pay that big of a contract, even though he is great. He's gonna demand a haul, like because of how he looks right now. He's averaging like 30, and I'm not gonna say he's a part of our like the future goals in like 5 to 10 years, but as of right now, in like the near future, right now, he's a part of the team. He's a part of our goals and things like that. So I don't think he'll get traded, but if the right deal comes, you never know, right? So
Yeah, I'm excited, dude. This class just looks different, man. I don't know. Maybe
this looks like one of the best classes in a long
this
time.
decade, man. Like I
There's
mean,
like a lot of kids.
from
Yeah.
2020 to now, I feel like might be. I can't think of another like great class from America, from college. From college, I can't think of another class that's been this good this decade so far. Well, so
I mean,
like
Con
obviously they
Knipple's
have to
playing
keep going.
well.
Yeah.
VJ Edgecombe's playing really well. Like, there's multiple
But
guys that are
I think
balling out
I
so
think
far.
this class can take a step forward though. Looking
This
at
class got like
how they
7,
play.
8 names in it.
Right. Last year had like what five big names.
Really 4, I think.
Really 4. Harper,
What was it? Flag,
Bailey.
Bailey, and Edgecombe. Yeah,
that's really
that's
it.
it.
I mean, those are the big names. I mean, you got Derek Queen, but he wasn't a big name. You got
Con Kniple, but he came on the scene as a shooting last year.
Yeah, Kniple, he wasn't really a big name throughout the season because he was Cooper Flagg's Robin. Now he's playing good.
Cockbrenner, he came on the scene in the tournament.
Yeah, he didn't have good regular season, so I mean he's played really good in March. But
I don't think we had this off rip to where we were saying like the first few games of the season, these are 4 kids to watch like right away. We didn't have that. I think it was always just Flag, Bailey, and Harper for those 3, and then VJ Edgecombe came in and had a great season and arguably played well throughout the whole season and got his name up there, but I don't think we were really saying much about Edgecombe with Bailey, Harper, and Flag last year, like in game 2, right? So, and like,
I mean, and the thing about
so.
colleges too, you almost highlight the seniors more at this point because they're guys that would have gone to the league and likely been second round picks, but now it's financially more viable for them to stay in college and just get their bag through NIL. Chad Baker Mazzara is still playing college basketball and he's like going on 30.
And Clayton is like the best example to use to when you think about staying in college and being ready to play in the NBA right away. Like Walter Clayton Jr., what he's done for us, he's the most ready out of all the rookies, I think. Even VJ Edgecombe had made a good jump, and Cedric has made a good jump, but Cooper Flag doesn't look like he did in college. Obviously, he's 18 and 7 games in, or something like that. And Ace Bailey, he hasn't played much, because he's coming off the bench. We're easing him into it, and Dylan Harper, he comes off the bench, right? So when you look at Walter Clayton, he's hurt now, comes in, he's already closing games for us with Keontae. So it's like, I'd say I really like people to stay in college, brand yourself and develop your skill, because when you come into the game, when you come into the NBA, it's a different league, especially when your body isn't that of a 23, 24-year-old male. At least.
I mean, that's a fair point, but at the same time, some of those guys, like, is Cooper Flag really going to benefit from?
Oh yeah, I mean,
3 years.
They're
like,
anomalies, right?
I think, yeah, like certain players, like Walter Clayton, for example, is a good example of someone who could have stayed in college, and I think it probably was the best path for him. But guys like Cooper Flag or maybe even a Con Kniple, maybe, like, there's really no point for them to stay in college when they're clearly ready for the next level.
There's no clear team like who's going to be like really good. I mean, last year we thought, Cooper Flag's team was going to win it all because Cooper Flag. But this year it's like, well, BYU, you got Arizona now coming up out the ranks. You got Tennessee. You got all these crazy teams. And then you got to look at the other Duke. Yeah, you can't even talk about Duke. You got to look
Illinois is always there. You can never count out Michigan State.
Purdue's looking unreal this year for some reason, team-wise. It's the Big Ten's looking kind of nice right now. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't know how's Michigan State looking, Jalen? I don't know that much about them. Are they looking good or no?
Fears looks good. Carr looks good. I haven't really sat down and watched too much yet because they only played one game. But I know that Trey Holloman had transferred, so that really hurt us a lot for him to go to NC State. But Fears should be taking the next step, and Carr should be taking the next step. So that's how I think.
Look, I got two cousins playing D1 basketball right now. Darius Bolden and David Bolden. Darius is playing at Bellingham. I don't know how to what is it? Bellarmine?
Bellarmine, yeah.
That's
plays
like a lower D1, isn't it? Like a
Yeah.
mid-major.
He plays at Bellarmine, and then David plays at New Jersey Institute of Technology.
Darius was at Stevens Point last year, wasn't he? If I'm not mistaken.
Yep, Darius played at Stevens Point, and then he moved to Bellarmine because Stevens Point was just not good, obviously. But
Well, I mean, that's a big loss for Point too. Like, I know we're getting into WIAC hoops, but Darius was like their defensive stud last year, from what I remember. He had a Hall of Fame pickpocket, is what he had. He was ripping dudes left and right.
Yeah, he's playing at Bellarmine now. He had a pretty good game the other day, and then David playing at New Jersey Institute of Technology or whatever. He just dropped like 18-7 and like 5 or something like that. It was crazy, and we all grew up as him being like kind of the problem child in basketball. Like, he was the third child. It went Daryl, Darius, David, Donovan, and then their little sister Taraya. And now David is going to be I think he's going to be the best one out of all of them. And then Donovan's going to be playing at Nicolay pretty soon. Or I think he is now for high school. And he looks amazing too. So I don't know. I'm going to try to get one of them on the podcast eventually and see if they can talk about, the season and how they came to be.
Awesome.
More than likely Darius. I'm a little bit close with him. He's around my age, but that'll be fun.
So we'll leave that there. We'll get into our final thoughts.
I'll start here. Am I crazy to say this? The Green Bay Packers have a Matt LaFleur problem.
I've been telling you that since the offseason, my friend.
So, I mean, there's a lot of Packers fans, or if you tell them that, you'll get laughed out of the room. Because I think there's definitely a fair argument for him to be regarded as one of the top play callers in football. There's an argument for him to be regarded as one of the best coaches in football. However, I think his abilities in both of those regards have taken a dip in the last year and a half. You look at the end of last year, the Packers fell apart. They lost their last 3 games. They did not look good against Minnesota. They looked awful against Chicago. In the Philly game, they played against a buzzsaw of a defense, but also could get nothing going offensively. And then you look at it this year, they're wildly inconsistent. There's a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. I would argue they have just as much talent, if not more, than Detroit does right now at most positions. However, they don't play like it most games. Especially, I have concerns about their week to week because you see them go out against Detroit week 1. They dominate them. It wasn't even close. Then you see them 2 weeks later against Cleveland, who has no offense. They look terrible. And you see them in week 8, I believe, against Pittsburgh. They look great again, especially in that second half and especially the fourth quarter. And then you see them just go out and lay a complete goose egg against Carolina. I think there's something wrong with the mentality on this team, and they really need to get things figured out if they want to make a deep run this year, because week to week, they don't look like they can right now. And especially with the schedule tightening up in the second half, you got a lot of important division games, 5 of them to be exact. Minnesota's no pushover. I think Chicago takes one of them from Green Bay this year, and Green Bay takes the other one. You got to find a way to win those games, and I don't know if Matt LaFleur is the guy for that moving forward after this season.
Well, what was it? It was 4th down or something, or it was 3rd down. Instead of throwing it with your quarterback, you throw a screen to your running back or something like that, and you get stuffed in the backfield. And you go for it on 4th down, and you completely whiff, and Jordan Love almost throws a pick 6 from across the field.
One of the worst throws I legitimately think I've ever seen. And I heard this. I forget where I heard this. It might have been on Twitter, but someone said something. He said Jordan Love throws. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions, but every single one he throws is the worst pick you've ever seen.
It's
like,
really
I have multiple over the last 2 years, just interceptions I can go to where I'm like, that's the worst one I've ever seen. No, that one's the worst one I've ever seen.
And he threw in that game triple coverage. And I'm just like,
yeah, like that. Or I don't know if you guys remember the Rams game last year where he was in the end zone, threw it up, like looked like Kyler Murray out there, or the one against Detroit last year, like where I'm like, what the actual F are you doing? Like, come on.
Hey, Jalen.
But yeah, all in all, this team has a Matt LaFleur problem. They run too many darn screen passes. The offense is too predictable. I think that's the biggest thing. When I, as a fan, know what you're going to try and do, that's a problem. And that's what's been going on this year.
Hey, Jalen, do you think Caleb Williams can go into Green Bay and win again? With the way they're looking right now?
I sure hope so.
My final thought, though, real quick, is I think I was looking online the other day, or last night actually, and it was giving me Giannis versus Embiid foul calls. The NBA is really, really pushing that flopping agenda, man. They really are, because they'll call anything for Embiid, but Giannis is getting smacked out of his mind the other day in Toronto. No calls, left and right. Oh, I was at a press conference or whatever with Doc, and he was saying like, yeah, they don't like they were saying like Giannis plays through it. Like they're not gonna call if he's playing through it. Like that makes no sense at all. Like if you're flopping, you get a foul call. It's crazy to me. So I think NBA gotta tighten up a little bit, man. I know they've been doing good so far the first 2 weeks, but I mean we can't be allowing this flopping left and right like this. It's bad. But that's just we're still really early in the season, so not much to say on that account. But look, Chargers Steelers on Sunday night. I'm terrified because I don't want to play Aaron Rodgers. I hate playing Aaron Rodgers. He's my favorite player ever, and I'm just scared of him. I hate playing against him. So that should be a fun game, but maybe not for us.
I mean,
so I will say I wanted to get to this. Here's the final thought right here. I told him I was going to come back to it. I don't know what Bronny was thinking.
You're gonna block that?
what is he, a foot and a half shorter than
I
him?
have no idea what the devil Bronny was thinking on that play. I saw the replay of it. I was like, dude, what? I don't even know why you'd even think on this. I don't even know why you was even in the vicinity of that. Like,
Wemby went harder too. He went straight down, right on him. I was like, yeah, that's crazy.
That's what you call a business decision when you decide not to get dunked on.
Exactly. Idiot.
But yeah, my final thought, man, baseball is really over just like that, and we're back to winter. So I mean,
I'm actually really quick.
Halloween's
before we
over.
sign off. I'm interested to see how free agency plays out for baseball this year.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a movie.
I mean, not only that. I mean, I think Kyle Tucker is going to be an LA Dodger in about a month and a half. But I'm intrigued to see how different teams play it because of the lockout that could be coming next year. Like, our team's going to approach it differently because they think we won't have baseball at all in 2027.
Yeah.
What is that all about? Can someone explain that to me? I don't really get it.
CBA agreement.
I mean, the NBA and NFL were able to come to an agreement, and baseball.
Now, I will say,
and there's a very high probability they don't before next year.
No, when people, I will say, and I hope, and I wish Sam was on, but he loves to talk about there need to be a salary cap. No, it doesn't. It needs to be a salary floor.
Yeah, the floor is probably the better.
You need a salary floor.
I mean, I think the floor could do more for the league because it forces the Marlins, the Pirates, the Brewers, teams like that to actually open up their pocketbooks a little
bit
and spend some money.
Yep,
like the fact that we have to discuss Paul Skeens going to the Yankees, Dodgers, or maybe in Philly, like a team like that in a couple of years, speaks to just as much as what's wrong with baseball as the fact that the Dodgers are acquiring Blake Snell, Yamamoto, Shohei, Tyler Glasnow. Like I think it goes both ways because I believe Snell and Glasnow are both Rays at one point.
They were both Rays at the same time.
Exactly. I mean, like that speaks to that's another issue too. It's like teams like the Rays, the Brewers, they're feeder teams for bigger organizations at this point, and that
don't need to be no.
That shouldn't be how it is, because if it almost feels like soccer where there's feeder teams for bigger teams, like the Man Cities or the Man Uniteds are just going to pull guys from the smaller teams.
There don't need to be no salary cap. It needs to be a salary floor, and that's better for the league because it makes people like the Ricketts or people like the Cubs spend their god doggone money. You are a MLB team in Chicago, Illinois, third largest market, one of the most richest teams, one of the most richest organizations in the league, top 4, if that top 3.
Yep.
Spend your money.
I agree.
I mean, I've
There's
said
no
this
reason why we
before,
should be
I'll-
talking about Kyle Tucker leaving the Cubs to go play in LA.
I mean, I've said this
$300
before.
million.
I'll say it again. There's no reason why the Cubs should ever lose the NL Central. I mean, they've been beaten out by the Brewers for what, 3 straight years now, and the Cardinals before that, and the Brewers again before that. The
And
last
all
time the
the-
Cubs won a division title was in 2020 with the COVID season. That should not be happening.
No, it shouldn't. It's because they don't want to pay their player. They think that they got the prospects enough to do it. Yes, you have a Pete Crow Armstrong. Yes, you got a Matt Shaw that came in. Whoop-de-doo. You got Cade Horton. That I told people do not trade. People
You know
were
who
talking
else
about,
is
"Oh,
out
get
there,
Cade
though, at
Horton,
third
but where you
base
gonna
that
get him?"
could have played instead of Matt Shaw? Alex Bregman. They could have went for Alex Bregman last offseason.
They did. Let me tell you, out of the 3 teams, the Dodgers, out of the 3 teams, the Red Sox and the Tigers, guess where they ended up? 3rd in contract. You lost the
They
battle
probably
to the
lowballed
doggone
him. They
Tigers.
probably
No, the Tigers
lowballed
didn't get him. The Tigers offered a better deal to him than you did. The Detroit Tigers. And you talk about when the doggone Boston Red Sox were not contending.
I mean, you saw it this year. Jed Hoyer got his extension right before the deadline happened, and he sat on his hands the whole time. The Cubs didn't do anything. They got Michael Soroka, a couple of bullpen arms. Andrew Kittredge ended up being a leverage guy. But other than that, Willie Castro didn't make an impact at all in the postseason. He got like 1 at-bat. He was out there to field maybe once. Like, what was the point? Like, depth pieces? Council never switched up the lineup.
Crazy thing is that I would love to keep blaming Jed Hoyer, but sometimes the owner gets the blame too. Dude, you gotta be. I don't see Jed Hoyer not saying, "I'm not making a call to go get Bregman or Sandy Alcantara at the deadline." He's not saying that because of he's not doing it because of freaking money's being spent. So, well, with that, we've come to the end of the show. Our guys got to drop off. So, subscribe, like, share, comment, follow our podcast page and other platforms. We have a Spotify, Instagram, TikTok. There's a link to be in the description box below. We will post reels and shorts and shows of this show. We do have polls, question boxes as well. You can always DM us on things you'd like to have answered. So with that, I'm not sure if we'll do a live with Nas tomorrow, but if so, we'll see you tomorrow, or if not, then we'll see you Tuesday.